Yeah, there you go. See, so did I just waste 20 minutes with like that jerk in college who's dressed like a goth, or the dude that's everything's black and the black fingernails, and so you're just trying to like upset people? Is that what I just spent 20 minutes? Is that your total analysis? Because I thought, okay, this guy's going to come with something. I'm told, he's really, really good. When I first said to him, and you heard me say that, full disclosure here, I'm going into this with a preconceived notion. I think you're an attention-seeking contrarian more interested in upsetting convention than establishing a religion. No, you're getting me wrong. Well, so what the Church of Satan? Well, we're more like atheists. We're more like, well, do you have a 10 command? Well, yeah, we kind of like made up some stuff, and well, then why not just be an atheist? Well, because we're Satanists. I fear that I think that's what just... And that should actually put a little more swag in your step today if you're a Christian. Going, Satanist. It's a joke. 700. Slowly at 700 WLW. I don't know what to make of this cat, quite honestly. Lucien Greaves, as the head of the Satanic Temple National Organization, whether he's in... Why not just be an atheist or agnostic? Or it makes no sense to me. Sandy, can you straighten me out? What do you got?
Hey, Sloanie, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm confused after the last 20 minutes. I
agree. You sat there talking to someone who wears probably black fingernail polish, black makeup. But what I think he's confused about, I think Lucien is agnostic, not atheist. Because if there's a heaven, there's a hell.
Right.
There's a, up above, down below. And if he's got any belief of anything to do with there's a balance out there. Mm-hmm. So I think he's agnostic, and he's got the whole thing mixed up.
Yeah, he brought that. He was kind of confusing me because, just to define that, if you're, and it's easy to get confused, is that atheist. They both question whether God exists. So the easiest way to explain it is atheism involves what a person does or doesn't believe, that they believe there's a God but doesn't believe. Agnosticism involves with what you don't know. I don't know. Right. I'm not sure if there's not a God, but atheism basically is there is no God, whereas agnosticism is I don't know yet.
They believe there's a possibility that
right.
there's something
they
out there, but they're just not sure.
But even he was contradictory there. It was like, well, then, okay, I'm an atheist, but I'm establishing Satan, although everything he described to me sounds like atheism.
I don't think he knew what he was talking about.
Well, I don't. Why? How many people are... Yeah.
He's the leader of his group.
Yeah, I mean, he has a belief structure. What's your belief structure? Well, it's kind of like the Ten Commandments. Well, do you believe in killing? Well, no, not really. Well, I could see if there's with, Martin Lutheranism, right? Protestantism. I get why that they broke away from the church. I get all that stuff, Church of England and the King. I get all that stuff. I don't get why it's not like you're offering me something I can't get elsewhere, right?
Exactly.
Good
exactly.
God.
I think he and his group need to relook at the difference between atheism and being agnostic, and they need to change.
Well, I mean, they don't.
How many people did he say? I didn't hear. Did he say how many people were in his group?
Well, like literally tens of thousands.
Really?
Yeah.
You think there could be? I mean,
no.
It's possible, but if there's tens of thousands of people out there who believe like he does, then either we're in trouble or they're in trouble.
Well, as John Mellencamp said, also of Indiana, ain't that America, home of the free? Little pink houses for you and me. News is next. I sound like Ken Brew. 700 W. Oh, good call. Good work, Brad.
You and me, ain't that America? Something to see.
So true, man. Oh, Johnny Wright. All right, so from Lucien the Satanist to your calls at 513-749-7800, the big one, pound 700 AT&T. A lot of people want to set up the Satan topic here, too. It's fascinating. I'm always open to talking to people about their belief structure and why it is you believe what you believe and what got you into this whole thing and your core beliefs. And when you can't articulate that, I wonder why you believe what you believe in the first place. A lot of us have maybe not necessarily questions about, a lot of people have questions, does God exist? Of course, that has been asked in churches and spoken from pulpits for eons, right? The big question most people have is like, well, what does God really want? And that's kind of what we're debating with the gay marriage thing. we have a core, generally a widely accepted core belief structure, and and then this guy comes and goes, well, we don't really like that. Okay, well, you kind of have to give me something as to the appeal of it. Right? What calls it? Well, it's Satanism, so you believe in the devil. Well, no, not really. We think it's just fictitious. Well, then there's agnosticism, there's atheism, there's a bunch of other things that would satisfy you. And as much as I want to go, hey, they have every right to have a display on the courthouse lawn in Franklin County, Indiana, as Christians do, with a nativity scene or whatever they would call that, you kind of got to give me some meat on the bone in order to say, hey, this is a legitimate religion, because right now it doesn't sound like it to me. It sounds like you are doing this just to stir the pot a little bit, or a lot, as the case may be. If it's legitimate, then yeah, you have a grievance there. It may offend me as a Christian or a Catholic, but I'm an American, and I stand with you in saying it's a free country for those who believe or disbelieve what I think. 513-749-7800, the big one, pound 700 AT&T. How about, well, wait a minute. I think everything's changing here. Brad, what are we doing? All right, thanks. Sean in Ivy Hills, you're on the show. Hi there.
Yeah, how you doing there?
I'm doing good, Bo. What's up?
I just wanted to shed some light on, what Lucian's been talking about here. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's way on point, and he's talking about, good and evil forces. Saying you can't have one without the other. You can't have the light without the shadow, and the yin and the yang.
It's like Sinatra. You can't have love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage.
Precisely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. What I'm talking about too is, Scott. You can't identify the blatant contradictions the way you said too. Then, you know what I'm saying? And one minute you're talking about, the Ten Commandments, and thou shalt not kill, and everything's good. In the same breath, you're talking about, lop this lady's head off in front of the square for abusing a child. And you said that's not, that's affordable. We can do that. And, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, we can. Well, because here's the thing. I mean, if you're going to, so it's basically for you, it's the murder thing, right? Is thou shalt not kill. But there's a difference here, and the difference is punishment versus malice. There's plenty of evidence in the Bible of killing, but is there justification in killing? For example, armies fighting wars and everything else. And certainly there are justified cases where killing one's brother is acceptable, even in the Bible. That's pretty clear.
Right, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate, Mr. Lucian stepping up there and talking about how, I'm saying, he wants to be identified. Easter just passed this weekend, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the blatant point to me is that, why is this, the worship of the cross, the instrument of torture, why? It's almost like the resurrection never happened, the real godly thing that never happened. Why do Christians, to me, it's like, I agree with him that they're fighting tyranny, it's to mold man.
Yeah, there's some, it's kind of fun, and I think that's noted too, man, because, it's like we're seeing, like, for example, fighting the Muslim extremists in the Middle East. I think if there's if it weren't for the Constitution and the rule of law here in America, I would think that there are a lot of Christians in America that would just love that type of tyranny here, if they could get away with it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah, I totally 100% agree with you.
Yeah. I totally get that. If you just let religion, if you turn into a country like that, if that becomes the rule of law, it becomes all about serving God and without any balance whatsoever. That's the extremism you wind up getting in some of these Islamic countries, right? You go, we're fighting for the American way over there, and then over here we have people that think the American way is exactly like that, except Christianity instead of Muhammad. 513-749-7800, the big one, and pound 700 AT&T. How about East Coast Share? What's going on?
Hi, Ronnie. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while.
How's everything?
Everything's good.
Good.
I just, these people, I'm just wondering, with him, if he doesn't believe in something, who made all of this? Mm-hmm.
Well, he would say, obviously there's science behind that and everything else. Now, we have the ability, though, and I go, well, what about things like love and reason and forgiveness that lesser creatures don't have? And I think that there's something that emboldens you that there is a higher power in that regard, because how do you explain that scientifically?
Yeah.
I've been
to the Creation Museum, and I'll tell you, they do have a film on, on the Bible and stuff and that, but still I happen to be Lutheran, but I'll tell you, as a Catholic, you have a lot of the beliefs, of course, that I do, of course. And we need to, focus on, looking around. You wake up in the morning and you look around and you say, wow, this is pretty good. I mean, how did this happen?
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Yeah, and I think there's an element to that. Now, do I question exactly the power of God? Well, not the power necessarily, but there are things that happen, like, for example, with the death of this girl. And, that makes people go, why, if there's a God, why would God allow that to happen? Unless this 2-year-old baby suffer like that.
Well, of course. But the thing of it is, too, is that, because we have all of this that we have, and it is a miracle, I would like to think that God had a purpose. I don't know what it is. Far be for me to ask. I mean, I could say, yes, why did God let this happen, or why did this child have an affliction when they were born? But, I'd like to believe that there's a greater good, of course there's a greater power. And that's the mystery of it. Beyond,
well, that's it. Yeah, whether you're Lutheran, Catholic, it's the mystery of faith, right?
It's beyond all understanding is what it is.
Yeah, and there are many things that a lot of people like you, smarter people than me, understand that I don't get, and so I don't feel bad that we all don't get religion. So yeah, exactly. And it's the thing, is like I have such a belief in a higher being in God, but at the same time, organized religion. You're losing me. The contradictions and the double standards are just amazing. It gets in the way of you knowing God, and I think that's why we're living in this new age of religion, where we have all these micro churches like Crossroads and other things popping up, because people are tired of the politics getting in the way of honoring God. And that's part of that big generational shift in America. Love it or don't. I was going to say love it or leave it. That's another song. 513